Hey everybody, Spence Coin or Jordan here. Um, I'm in the Dark Forest community. Huge fan of Dark Forest. I'm also working from my crypto, um, and I've made a lot of videos about Dark Forest over the last year plus, maybe like 16 months or something like that. And I made a lot of tutorials and like how-to videos, but I haven't yet made a video that's kind of like a basic introduction to Dark Forest and what Dark Forest is and why I love Dark Forest. Um, and so I oftentimes find that when someone asks about Dark Forest, I could just share the tutorials playlist, but there's nothing there that kind of um, kicks it off, really. And so I want to make a little video just kind of talking about what Dark Forest is. Um, this universe that I'm playing in right now is an older universe that's still online and it's kind of inactive, but we're going to use it for the sake of kind of showing off Dark Forest a little bit here. Now, Dark Forest is a massively multiplayer online role playing game. Uh, it's massive, it's multiplayer, it's online. Uh, you kind of role play in whatever way you want, and it's a game. Um, it is inspired by the book of the same name, Dark Forest, and some of the core mechanics of the game are inspired by the Dark Forest trilogy and like the three body problem and stuff about hidden information and civilizations and like how the universe is a dark forest potentially. Um, Now, the game itself is a fairly simple concept. When you spawn into a universe, you have like a home planet. This is not my home planet. This is just a planet we're going to say was my home planet. Now, before we even get there, every time a new round starts or somebody creates a new round or whatever else, they're creating a new universe that is procedurally generated based off of some specifications they want to set or just random or whatever else. And that determines the types of space that are in the universe, the types of planets, the level of the planets, and the location of everything. So you generate a seed basically, and it just kind of spawns this universe like the Big Bang. Um, and so every player that spawns into the universe has a home planet, and then the general gist or the general mechanic of this game is to spend your energy to go to other planets that have been not conquered by anybody else yet. And so you'll see I just sent a transaction here, or it's like pending, and the transaction was completed. This is a blockchain transaction, and so I sent energy from this planet to this planet, which is currently unowned, and in 15 seconds, the energy will arrive to that planet and capture it. And you'll see this planet will get a white circle around it to indicate that I own it. So now I own this planet too. Now this is a level 0 planet. It's the smallest planet possible. This is level 1. The planets go all the way up in size to 2, 3, and then you can get bigger. This is a level 6 planet. This is level 7 planet. This is a level 9 planet. And this thing on top of it is a hat, which is completely superficial and for fun. So, fun fact also, all these planets with different colors around them, every unique color represents a unique player. So this universe is quite old because you can see so many players own planets already, and there's like a smattering of probably like 100 different players right here. So anyways, the general gist or mechanic of the game is to capture more planets and expand your empire. And you'll see up here there is a score. And so in this particular round, there is 2 scoring mechanics. One is withdrawing silver through a planet type called space-time rip, and 2 is from discovering artifacts. Now, talking about planet types. So, first of all, these things that look like planets, these are just basic planets. They have statistics like energy regeneration rate, range, how far they can reach to send a voyage to another planet, speed, which is the speed of that voyage, and defense, which is how defensible a planet is, or how well it can defend from enemy players attacking you. So these are planets. They're kind of the bread and butter of your universe, or of your little area of the universe. And then there are asteroid fields. These have different statistics as well. These have different stats. And generally they're weaker in terms of defense than a planet, and they cannot be upgraded. However, the big thing about asteroid fields is that they generate silver, and silver is necessary to upgrade planets. So you would generally want to send silver from an asteroid field to one of your planets, and then you would upgrade that planet, its defense, range, or speed. And so that's one of the other core mechanics, is upgrading your planets to make them stronger, more defensible, faster, higher range, etc., etc. So another planet type is a space-time rip. So these also had different statistics, but the core mechanic of these planets is that you send silver from an asteroid field or from a planet or wherever else to a space-time rip, and then withdraw it from the space-time rip out of the game, which adds points to your score. And then the 4th planet type, if we can find one, is... Do we have a foundry? No, this is space-time rip. Okay, well, another planet type is a foundry. And, gosh, are there no foundries visible? Okay, this is a foundry. This is somebody else's foundry. And you can tell that somebody else owns it because they have a non-white ring around the planet. So this planet is owned by a person named Classic Jordan. That is a coincidence. That is not me. That Jordan is spelled with an O-N, and I am Jordan with an A-N. Anyways, this is a foundry, and I also don't think foundries can be upgraded, but the unique mechanic of foundries is that every foundry has a hidden artifact on it, and to reveal that artifact, you need to own the foundry, and it needs to have 95% minimum of its 100% energy capacity. So you need to fill it up almost all the way to full. And then you do 2 transactions. You prospect on the foundry, and then you find the artifact on the planet. And then you get an artifact. Now, artifacts are NFTs, and they have different stat modifiers once you attach them to a planet. These can be just basic percentage-based stat modifiers, like it can increase your range or defense or your speed, or it can even reduce depending on what kind of artifact it is. Some artifacts are also one-time use, or they have a unique effect, like giving you a one-time boost of range and speed, or letting you destroy a planet, or letting you shield a planet. And so there are the basic stat modifier artifacts, and then there are the utility artifacts, I guess you could say. And so artifacts are NFTs, and they can be withdrawn from the game through a space-time rip, and they will be then held in the wallet that you're using to play the game. What else? So that's kind of like the basics of the game. Some rounds have different scoring mechanics, and then if you zoom out all the way, you'll see this white ring, and this is the edge of the universe. And when more players enter and more planets are captured, the universe expands slowly over time. So at the beginning of this round, whenever it was happening, the universe edge was probably like this close to the center. But over time, the universe expanded and now it's gigantic. So that's a pretty cool mechanic. Um, you'll also notice all of this grayness around me. This is the fog of war. And this is a revealed area. And this is a revealed area. Now, if you have fog of war covering a part of the plant or part of the map, you can't see planets under it, you can't interact with planets under it, and it's basically just hidden. And you have to reveal this fog of war over time. And you do that by using these controls down here. So this is the Explorer. You can move the Explorer to any patch of gray you want and click Explore. And you'll see the Explorer is slowly revealing more of the map to show us the planets underneath the fog of war. Now, this is quite cool because this Explorer is actually utilizing my computer's CPU to mine the map. And so we're slowly mining the map to reveal more planets, and you can use more of your CPU cores or less of your CPU cores depending on your CPU. Some players also use external servers to mine the map quickly without hampering their own computer, and it's super, super cool. This is one of the other core mechanics of this game that utilizes kind of like newer cryptography-based technology. Let's see, what else? So yeah, this game is basically fully on the blockchain. It's open source. The code has been built by a bunch of great guys who work on the game, and but one thing you might ask yourself is like, why is this game utilizing blockchain technology? Well, first of all, I think Dark Forest was primarily created back in the day as almost like a experimental or exploratory game, or like a proof of concept for some of this technology. And it just so happened that they made a game that was quite fun and addicting, and a lot of players enjoyed it. And so it quickly kind of ramped up and has become one of like the hottest blockchain games that there is. I personally believe it's like one of the true like native blockchain games out there, and a lot of other games are posers, but but it's not that big of a deal. So this wasn't intended to be like an amazing game on the blockchain. It was kind of intended to be like hey, let's see if we can do this with blockchain technology, and it's working. And it's so cool is that almost every single thing within the game is done on the blockchain and visible on the blockchain. Like every single time you send energy from one planet to another, it is a transaction on the blockchain. And I think that is super cool. Also, the fact that it's on the blockchain and it's open source and everything allows for a lot of interoperability. It's completely client agnostic, which means that you can take the underlying code of Dark Forest and you can build a completely new front end on top of it. You can create new mechanics. You can flip it upside down. You can do whatever you want with it because it's completely interoperable and it's agnostic. Now, I think this in itself is extremely, extremely cool. Like, what other games do you know of that you can rip apart and put back together with new mechanics and still have a fun game or even a playable game? Like, I don't really know. And what's cool is that some players in a a Dark Forest guild or a Dark Forest DAO launched their own community round where they took the underlying Dark Forest game and they created new mechanics, and it worked flawlessly. And so I don't know, this thing is just, it's just so cool, and it's attracted so many awesome players. But what's cool too is that there's a plugin system, and so if you click plugins, you'll see I have this plugin library, which has all these different things, right? And every one of these is like a little, it's like a little, well, it's a plugin that does something different for me in the game to make my life easier in game, or to add certain effects or anything else. And so, for example, there is this fun plugin, or you can see if you go to edit plugins, you can see all these plugins are made up of different code, and it's all JavaScript. And so you need to be careful when you're looking for and installing plugins because it is JavaScript. So disclaimer, be cautious with that. But there's plugins like this Rage Cage one is a default plugin, and I literally I clicked run, and it just added Nicolas Cage to every planet. Like, and then there's this one. Let's see, what's a fun one to show you? Okay, crawl planets. Is this okay? So this opens up a interface with a bunch of different things. Okay, minimum level to capture. Planet. Okay, so this plugin is going to crawl all the planets around it and try and capture planets that aren't captured according to the specifications we set. So we click crawl from selected, which is this planet. And so now it has triggered 7 separate transactions to capture 7 planets surrounding it. And so once the blockchain processes all of these transactions, you'll see the dotted line turn to a solid line. And you'll see all of these little voyages sent out to capture all these planets. And this is a plugin that was built by a Dark Forest player. Like a random player who knows how to code. They made a plugin that like vastly changes the gameplay experience, and almost like it introduces automation. And so like that's like what this game enables people to do. It's so cool. So there's the plugins. Also, you can find like a lot of cool plugins at plugins.zkga.me. They're very loosely vetted, so I would not take like a plugins being on this page as some sort of like verification that it's like safe or anything like that. So do your own research. Be careful installing anything. So this is kind of like most of the mechanics and the like. Oh, one thing too cool about the Fog of War is that it utilizes a technology called zksnarks, and I'm not going to pretend to understand or communicate properly about what zksnarks are, but I do know that they're really cool, and I do know that they allow for this Fog of War to be properly like hidden, or to exemplify information asymmetry. And I wrote down something here that I'm going to kind of like read off of. But you know, like in a game of poker, for example, where only you know what cards you have, and you don't know anybody else's cards. They don't know what your cards are. That's information asymmetry. Or in like a game of Battleship, where you set your ships up beforehand and nobody knows where your ships are except for you. That is information asymmetry. And the way that, or in Battleship, you could always cheat. You could move your ship around after setting it up. You could lie, etc., etc. But if zksnarks are set up in a certain way, you effectively can't cheat, and it's like kind of like foolproof. Um, and it so again, I don't really know too much about zksnarks. I'm not the best person to talk about it, but this fog of war is like legitimate fog of war that uh, players can reveal over time. They can share their map files with each other to show other to like import the maps that they've revealed, so you can share maps and stuff. I don't know, it's super super cool. But aside from all of the like the cool tech parts of Dark Forest, um, Dark Forest is an absolute addiction. It's an amazing game that hasn't made me feel like this way about games in a long time. Um, it's when you're looking at these planets and stuff, like it's not all that visually stimulating. Um, but what it does allow you to do is use your imagination, and um, like I think that's super cool because it makes me feel kind of like a kid again. Every time that you play a new round of Dark Forest, you are, you're jumping into a new universe with new planets, with new players around you. Some may be your enemy in this round, some may be allies, and I don't know. There's new narratives, there's new stories. Like every single round of Dark Forest, I have a unique story about the people that I interacted with, both in game and out of game. How I can use diplomacy on Twitter or in Discord to make deals inside Dark Forest to get myself further up the leaderboard. Um, I think it's just super cool, and you know, Jackson Dame on Twitter. I think they just recently name changed to Dame.eth, but they posted a tweet about how Dark Forest like makes them feel like a kid again, because when they wake up in the morning, they want to go see the new planets they've uncovered overnight, and this is exactly what a lot of players do. When a new Dark Forest round is happening, I will leave my computer on all night, letting it mine more of the fog of war around me. So when I wake up in the morning, I can see if I've uncovered any like level 5 or level 6 planets or anything like that overnight. And if I see it, it gives me this amazing sense that I've discovered something cool. It's like opening a loot box. And I don't know what it is, but it's gives you that rush. It's like dopamine or like, whatever the equivalent is. But I don't know. It's so much fun, and I'm starting to ramble now. But I don't know. I've made lots of friends playing this game. I've learned communication skills in this game. I've learned a lot about technology by playing this game, and the best thing is that it's a fun game at its core too. Let's see what else. I think that's mostly it. Um, but like I said before, or so one of the other things is the back to the artifacts being NFTs. Um, a lot of people don't like NFTs because it's a bad word. And artifacts in this game are NFTs that you can take outside of the game and hold in your wallet. And right now, you can't really do anything with them. You can buy and sell them in game through a couple of different market plugins, but you can't really view them outside of outside of the game. Like you can't really view them in wallets. OpenSea doesn't support them because I think it's because they're on xDai. But like, and you also can't use artifacts in between various rounds. But the way that things are set up, you might be able to find a mythic artifact in one round, pull it out of the game, and then use it a year later in a future round, or sell it, or use it in a different game entirely. And that's interoperability, being able to do, having one thing be used in multiple things, interoperable. And no games really utilize this to its core yet, but I think eventually interoperability will be the name of the game. And things will be used in a ton of different games and on a ton of different blockchains. And you might have a really kick-ass artifact from Dark Forest that you use in a bunch of other different games, and it can be a status symbol, or you can sell it for a few bucks or whatever else, but you have true ownership of everything that you pull out of Dark Forest. And the cool thing is that if Dark Forest, the core team, goes away or shuts down or whatever, the game is open source. You could spin up your own Dark Forest and choose to allow people to use artifacts from different versions of Dark Forest. Literally in game, the universe is yours to do what you want with, and outside of the game, the Dark Forest universe is yours to do what you want with. You can play with it, you can break it, you can build it, you can expand it, you can do whatever you want. And I think this is kind of like, I think Dark Forest is really forging a path through blockchain gaming. And again, it's on the blockchain because it was initially like exploratory, experimental, and it's working out. So I highly recommend that you play this, you try it out. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about Dark Forest and why I love it so much. But feel free to reach out if you have any questions about Dark Forest, if you'd like to learn more, if you want to play. Can't promise I'll give you a key for it. But yeah, give it a shot and try playing it. See if you get destroyed by another player. Try making a plugin. Try learning how to code. Try getting involved in the community. And see how you can make an impact in the universe. But that's about it. I've been SpenceCoin, and best of luck in the Dark Forest, everybody.